Hello everyone and welcome to South Kitsap High School. Tonight the Wolves of South Kitsap will be taking on the Gig Harbor Tides. I'm Darren Bowden, coming to you live here from Joe Knowles Stadium, and working with me tonight will be a South Kitsap video expertise and sports fan all around, Mr. Phil Wilson. Welcome to the booth, Phil.
Thank you.
And we are expecting a really good game tonight between the Wolves and the Tides, which has really developed into quite a rivalry since the Gig Harbor Tides have moved up to the 4A classification. In last year's contest, the Tides of Gig Harbor will be seeking a little bit of revenge as they will try to avenge their 27-7 loss at the hands of the Wolves over at Gig Harbor. So anyways, we should expect a really good game tonight, as the South Kitsap Wolves will be returning several starters, including their powerhouse running back, led number 34, Ryan Cole. And Phil, what kind of, and I'll tell you what, before we get going here, we would like to introduce the national anthem here as presented by the South Kitsap High School Band.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Evans will read a poem that she wrote specifically for this occasion. Miss Kelly Evans.
It came out of nowhere, without signs or warnings. Just another workday, another Tuesday morning. Walking into their buildings, it never crossed their minds that they would be the victims of such tragic and ugly crimes. They never imagined that this day would be their last, that they would leave their loved ones, their memories, and their pasts. So now it is our time to think of the lives lost and to be there for each other at any and every cost. America is beautiful. We stand strong and proud. We will not let this defeat us. Hatred will never bring us down.
September 11th, 2001, a date that will be forever remembered in American history. In a show of unity and honor, every high school football game in the state will join us in observing a moment of silence. Candles at the 50-yard line and held by the cheerleaders commemorate the lives of those who have perished. For safety reasons, please refrain from lighting candles or other objects in the stadium. We thank you for your cooperation. Please stand and remove your hats as we observe a moment of silence and honor the many people who lost their lives during the terrorist attack on September 11, 2001 in New York, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of the colors. Would you please remain standing through the national anthem and until the colors are retired from the field. And now please join Brad Price and the South Kitsap Band in our national anthem.
You just witnessed a small ceremony prior to the contest here between South Kitsap and Gig Harbor in honor and commemoration of the tragic events that have taken place earlier this week from the terrorist attacks in New York City, Washington, D.C., and in Pennsylvania, and it has affected all Americans across the land, but it will not damage our spirits. And we will have two fine football teams ready to participate in this contest here tonight in the second week of high school 4A football in the greater Kitsap County area. As I stated earlier, the South Kitsap Wolves will be featuring one of the top tailbacks in the state of Washington, number 34, Ryan Cole, who is part of the captain crew of South Kitsap, as he is joined by number 3, Sean Banks, number 45, senior John Embaum, and number 75, senior Chris Kruger. The Gig Harbor Tides have at captain number 2, Casey Pinch, number 5, Brett Shearer, number 7, Johnny Carr, number 9, Kyle Euchre, number 12, Tyler Coleman, and number 56, Matt Gimsey, and number 77, Willis Cooley, as they are about to head out to midfield for the coin toss. The South Kitsap Wolves endured through a tough season opener last week against the Snohomish Panthers up at Snohomish High School and prevailed 18-17 in a very close game that went right down to the wire, if I can ever learn to speak clearly here, Phil. And Gig Harbor opened up the season in their annual and traditional fishbowl game as they defeated the Peninsula Seahawks 42-13, and as many people will know, that Peninsula has dropped to the 3A level, so they will be no longer competing in the Narrows League. So nonetheless, we're going to have two football teams starting off the season at 1-0 who will be ready to perform this football contest here tonight in front of South Kitsap's home crowd. And Phil, what are some of your other thoughts about tonight's game?
Thoughts about tonight's game is the big meaty guys out there, it seems like that, you know, they're ready to play some football, but it also means that the ceremony and the things that happen, just getting back on that, is that they all have big hearts too, and they want to remember the people that died over there. But let's play some football.
Well, you can count on an excellent game tonight between both teams, as records do not matter, and the South Kitsap Wolves will be gearing up to play the Gig Harbor Tides here tonight at beautiful Joel Knowles Stadium, who is actually getting a facelift tonight, as we have a new track that will be completed here shortly, and it will be a very fine stadium once that has been completed. So the coin toss has been completed, and we will be waiting for the opening kickoff, as the Gig Harbor Tides have won the toss and have elected to receive. So the Wolves will be kicking from our right to left, and we'll be getting ready to go here on a beautiful evening for football. And kicking off for the Wolves will be number 91, Shannon Haney, a 6'1", 178-pound sophomore.
Looks like number 8 for Gig Harbor Tides is back to receive, number Anthony Campos.
And also number 35, Paul Turnbill, as we are ready for the opening kickoff, and there it is, heading down the left side of the field, and it will be fielded by Anthony Campos at about the 10-yard line. He starts left, he tries to make a cut up the middle, and he ends up getting to the sideline where he's taken out by a pack of Wolves, and the Gig Harbor Tides will have a first down at about their own 28, we'll call it the 28-yard line.
That's a great tackle. Looked like number 29, Phil Thomas, got in there to cause some damage. For the South Kitsap offense, it looks like that, of course, it's going to be the featured running back. But for the defense, it's going to be Chris Kruger and Ben Duncan that.
Well, the Tides have a good weapon on their own, and senior quarterback, number 12, Tyler Coleman, a 6'3", 200-pound monster who is tallied by many as a top quarterback in the Kitsap and Pierce County areas, as they hand the ball straight up the middle and they get a gain of about 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6 to go for the Tides. The Tides coming out in a wing T formation. Anthony Campos split left. They hand the ball. They pitch the ball out to the left-hand side. Number 45.
It's taken out of bounds by number 3, Sean Banks, the co-captain of the South Kitsap Wolves.
Looked like the ball carrier was number 35, Paul Turnbull. And he gets past the 1st down marker. And it'll be a 1st down for the Gig Harbor Tides at the 38-yard line. So the Tides so far keeping the ball on the ground and moving nicely against this South Kitsap defense as they break the huddle. Campos heading left and in that wing T formation. Turnbull under center. He fakes the handoff, looks for the little roll-up pass, and it is incomplete,
Nice
intended
play.
for number 35, Paul Turnbull, with number 13 for the South Kitsap Wolves, Chris Anderson, on the coverage. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Tides.
It's a nice play. Looked like he just overthrew that ball. It's a good route.
So the Tides have the first pass of the game, incomplete. The Wolves with 4 down linemen. Turnbull takes a 3-step drop, looking to his left. He scrambles a little bit and he's flushed, and then he's hit by a pack of Wolves,
There you go.
led by number 58, Buddy Anderson, and number 13, his brother, Chris Anderson. So a tag team match there by a couple of Wolf brothers, and it will be 3rd and 10 with no gain on the play for the Tides. So that's twice that the Tides have gone to the pass, and they have come up on the short end of the stick.
Looks like on that wing T you can have more than a few receivers out there. It's like they just had one main receiver in Anthony Campos.
Turnbull rolls out to his right. He looks for Andy Willis in the flat.
Nice tackle by number 3, Sean Banks.
The ball is caught, but nice defense by number 3, Sean Banks, on the coverage. It'll be 4th down and 8 for the Tides. Nice defensive series here by the Wolves.
Excuse me, that looked like number 7. Mr. Jeff Goodwin.
Good coverage on the play by Jeff Goodwin. Back to kick for the Tides, number number 80, Matt Vandenhovel. Back to receive is number 8, Nick Anderson. He receives the pass at about the 28-yard line. He gets out to the right, and there comes a flag down, and that's going to be a push in the back against South Kitsap. So hold everything. Anderson fielded the ball at about the 28, headed right, made a cutback, but there was a push in the back on the punt return team by the Wolves, so that'll set them back a few more yards here for their opening drive. And it is holding against the Wolves. So we will back them up a little bit here, but this will be the first series in which we'll be able to see this high-powered running attack led by number 34, Ryan Cole. But I'll tell you, Phil, Ryan gets about half of his yards, not just on his own, but also by that big offensive line, creating those huge holes for him.
Looks like Chris Kruger and Ben Duncan are holding up the offensive line, and it seems that they can just hold up the big backs up there on the line, and he can just break tackles. Not only does he have great speed, but he has good moves as well.
So the Wolves come out. Phil Thomas is the running back, a sophomore. They hand the ball off to Cole. He gets off left tackle. He stays on his feet. He gets out past the 40 to about the 43-yard line. So right off the bat, a 13-yard gain by Ryan Cole.
Looks like good blocking coverage on that play.
About as soon as Cole got the handoff from Betters, he had a huge hole created by that left side of the offensive line, led by Chris Kruger. And the Wolves will have a 1st down and 10 at the 42. They come out in the I formation, split backs. Fine and Anderson split. They hand the ball off to Cole. He goes straight up off right tackle, but he is hit pretty hard, bounces off a tackle, and he scampers forward for a few extra yards. A gain of about 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. So right off the bat, Ryan Cole getting the majority of the ball carrying here in tonight's game.
That's what it's all about, inching that ball up there with those moves and spinning around. It's like, just keep your feet moving. That's what it's all about. Like to see them throw the ball.
Kruger and Duncan anchoring that left side. Vetters with a 3-step drop. The ball's caught by Nick Anderson, and he's gone. He's going to go untouched. He's at the 10-5, touchdown South Kitsap.
What'd I say, DB? It's like they surprised him with that throw.
Nick Anderson with a 52-yard touchdown reception with a nice 3-step drop pass from Travis Vetters, and just like that, the Wolves are on the board 6-0.
That was an awful nice play. Running in the inside, Nick Anderson's got that height where he can just run those inside routes, and they get the ball to him. Travis Vetters does the job.
Anderson made a nice quick outside and then slant to the inside. Vetters hit him right on the hands. Nice catch and run. 52 yards later, touchdown South Kitsap as they attempt the PAT. The kick is up, and it is good. So, with 8:31 remaining here in the first period, the South Kitsap Wolves lead the Gig Harbor Tides 7-0. And Phil, it could be a long night for Gig Harbor if South Kitsap maintains this offensive strength early on.
Exactly. They attack with the run, and then here comes the pass. They just looked like they caught Gig Harbor off guard. And as we look at that instant replay, you can see Chris Anderson breaking all those tackles and with that great speed getting that touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you, Nick Anderson is a big kid. He's a 6'1", 170-pound junior, and I've had the privilege to coach this young man in track and field, and you're going to have a hard time taking him down, very similar to that of number 34, Ryan Cole. But I think that's indicative of the South Kitsap offense, is that they have so many weapons. Many people think that it's Ryan Cole this, Ryan Cole that, but I'll tell you what, they have a great offensive line. Travis Vetters is an excellent quarterback, and they have very good wide receivers, as we're also seeing number 33, Richard Fine, a sophomore, getting the first start, and you know he's got to have a few butterflies in his stomach.
Yes, he does. But the one thing that all these receivers seem to have in common is that great speed.
So the Wolves kickoff here, number 8, Anthony Campos takes the kickoff, and he gets a few yards after receiving the ball at about the 14-yard line for about a 9-yard gain, and the Tides will take over 1st and 10, and we'll see what kind of an offensive series that the Tides can bring here.
I expect them to pass the ball. I mean, it looked like they were getting the job done with the run, but I really expect them to pass this time.
Well, the run seemed to be somewhat effective early on. They went to a couple of passing plays, but there's a lot of football left here in tonight's game, folks.
Yes,
as
sir.
The Tides come out in the wing T formation. Turnbull with the handoff straight up the middle, but he's not going anywhere as the defensive front for the Wolves stopped the running game early on. It'll be 2nd down and about 9 yards to go for the Tides.
As you said, definitely we have lots of football left to be played. We got 8 minutes just about remaining in the first quarter. So still lots of football to be played.
So the Wolves doing a nice job on defense. Actually, that's number 12, Tyler Coleman, and he looks for number 8, and it's almost intercepted by number 7, Jeff Goodwin. Oh, he had the early inside break on that outside pass, and he was just a fingertip away from intercepting that pass, and if he does, he's in for 6 points.
Exactly. That's good coverage. That's the second time we've mentioned Jeff Goodwin's name. He's just hustling, and he's got great speed where he can just track the ball and try to intercept it. Seems like he's got a hand in there just about every time they throw the ball.
It'll be 3rd and 9 for the Tides, deep in their territory with the ball at the, we'll call it the 30-yard line. Coleman under center. They fake a few handoffs. He drops straight back. He's looking down over the middle. He throws up the ball. It's up for grabs, and it's incomplete.
Knocked down by you-know-who, Sean Banks, number 3. Good play.
The pass looks like it was intended for number 5, Brett Shearer, but good coverage by the Wolves. The pass was a little bit underthrown, incomplete, and it will be 4th and 9 for the Tides. So for the second time in their possession game here tonight, the Tides will be punting to the Wolves.
It's like we're going to have Nick Anderson return this punt.
Ryan Cole will be back there joining him here. The punt, it's a low line drive spiral, and it's going to go over the head of Anderson and takes a Gig Harbor bounce. Anderson picks the ball up at about the 17, has a little stutter step, trips. He is hit by a couple, 2 or 3 Tides, but he gets a nice return of about 12 yards to the 29-yard line where the Wolves will take over 1st and 10. It was a low line drive spiral kick that went over Anderson's head. He fielded the ball at the 17-yard line with 13 on the return. And with 7:30 remaining here in the first quarter of play, the South Kitsap Wolves lead the Gig Harbor Tides 7-0 as the Wolves break away from the sideline. Vetters looks over the defense. I formation. They hand the ball off to Ryan Cole. Gets off left tackle. He barrels up the middle, close to that first down marker. Looks like a gain of 8. It'll be spotted at the 37-yard line. For a gain of 8, it'll be 2nd and 2 for the Wolves.
There's not enough good you can say about Ryan Cole. Just breaks the tackle. He's got great speed.
We had a huge hole right there created by that left side of the offense, and some of that came on his own. So Vetters hands the ball off to Cole. He trips up, and I believe he will have the first down. He was met at the line of scrimmage, but bounced off a couple of tackles. And yes, he will go forward to the 40-yard line for the first down.
Looks like the running game is getting it done for South Kitsap.
As more substitutions come off the field and go into the game. From the 40, fine split left, Anderson right. Vetters with a little 3-step drop. He's looking for Anderson again over the middle, and the pass is incomplete. Good coverage there by the Tides by number 1, Andy Willis, a 5'11", 170-pound senior.
Seemed like that's South Kitsap's strategy, is to pound the ball inside with the run and then break it out with the pass play. Surprise him a little bit.
And it looked like the Wolves were going for that earlier 3-step drop slant to the middle pass play, but the Tides were ready for it that time. Excellent coverage by Willis. It will be 2nd and 10 for the Wolves. Vetters hands the ball off to Cole off the counter. He gets hit. He stays on his feet. There goes Ryan Cole. Ryan Cole's going to dance into the end zone. He's going at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, South Kitsap.
That was just a great route run by Ryan Cole. Looks like he was going for the inside, then brought it right out, cut back to the outside, just went all the way.
And time again last year we've seen that. Ryan Cole with a 60-yard touchdown run. And the Wolves go ahead 13-0 with 6:19 remaining here, and we're only in the first quarter.
Just amazing. 6:19 left. It's probably going to be 14-0. I won't say that for sure, but this extra point team seems to be pretty efficient to me.
The Wolves executed a nice little counter play.
Oh, just barely.
As Cole went off left tackle and danced into the end zone 60 yards as the extra point attempt is no good by the Wolves. So with 6:19 remaining in the first quarter, the South Kitsap Wolves lead the Gig Harbor Tides 13-0.
Let's check out that instant replay as Ryan Cole breaks it down. Breaks it down through the tackle with that excellent speed, just dances in the end zone.
And when you get Ryan Cole out in the open like that, you can assure everyone watching that it's going to be very difficult to bring him down. It's going to take at least 3 to 4 people to bring him down. So the Wolves strike on their first 2 possessions.
I guess I shouldn't have said anything, DB. They missed the extra point.
Looks like I guess we both kind of jinxed that, didn't we, Phil?
Yes, we did.
as number 91, Shannon Haney, gets ready for the kickoff. Willis and Turnbull back to receive. It's fielded by Willis on the right side, a short kick, and the Tides will be downed at the 33-yard line. So not a very deep kick, and the Tides will have decent field position on their end of the field. The Tides have had a slow start here in the first quarter, with both of their first two possessions ending in a punt. But we'll see what they can do here on this next series.
If the time is now for them. Looks like we got a flag.
A penalty flag down, and the Wolves defense are indicating that it could be a false start on the offense, and I believe that's what the call will be. And it is. They will scoot the Tides back 5 extra yards. Illegal procedure, and it'll be 1st and 15 from the 28 as Coleman takes the handoff. They hand off to Turnbull. Boy, I think I'm going to get those names mixed up tonight. I hope I don't. And
looks like
I believe that was Turnbull.
Looks like a good block by number 55, Jack Coffrin. Really good route.
Paul Turnbull gets a couple yards on the gain. It'll be 2nd down and 12 yards to go for the Tides. On a beautiful evening. What a great evening for football here.
Absolutely.
As the crowd starts to file in, more people on both sides of the fence. They pitch the ball left to Turnbull. He gets out to the left side and will gain about 4 yards on the play to the 35. It'll be 3rd and 8 for the Tide. So a nice little pitch from Coleman to Turnbull.
I highly doubted that they're going to run here. It looks like they're going to pass.
Well, usually this is a passing situation, but anything could happen. We could look for, like the Wolves had on their last possession, they had a nice little counter play to the left-hand side, which resulted in 6 points from Ryan Cole, who is playing free safety tonight. Coleman drops back, and he's hit right on the spot by number 3, Sean Banks. Great coverage, and one extra step, and he could have stepped in front of that and picked it off and run down. And I got a feeling that if the defense keeps up like that, that one of those defensive backs is going to do that tonight.
Man, Banksy looks stoked right there. He just going crazy out there. Looks like all these guys are pumped up for this game.
The pass was intended out to the right flat, but a nice defensive stop by Sean Banks as Nick Anderson drops back to receive the punt from the Tides. It's a low end-over-end kick. Anderson will fall on the ball at the 19-yard line, and a flag comes in very late.
It's like the 14-yard line, DB, but gosh, you can't just let it roll like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, call that the 14-yard line, but like we said, a late flag coming in, and if that's against the Wolves, that could change everything. That should result in a first down for the Tides, but we'll have to wait for the call. And it is, it's a clipping, but that will be after the play. So the penalty flag will come after the possession of the South Kitsap Wolves, which is a clipping call. Hold everything. Well, now normally, if you have a clipping, it is after the possession, but looks like the Tides are going to come back out and have possession of the ball. So we're going to just have to wait and see what happens here. Looks like the Wolves are going to get the ball back, so I guess not. It's a clipping call, but apparently that will result in a first down for Gig Harbor. So normally clipping comes after the possession is made, but I guess that's not the ruling here. So a costly penalty for South Kitsap results in Gig Harbor maintaining possession, in which they will have the ball at the South Kitsap 45-yard line. Coleman hands the ball off to Turnbull, and he is not going to get very much on that play.
No, sir.
As both the Anderson brothers for South Kitsap make a nice stop on defense.
It's like they just stacked that line.
Also, number 56, Kenny Gatlin, who is coming off the field, was in on that stop as well. So gain of about 2. It'll be 2nd and 8. Tides with a split back formation. They hand the ball off to Turnbull again. He gets a nice break. He stays on his feet, and Turnbull's going to go. He's going to be taken down from behind, though, by number 8, Nick Anderson. He was taken down at the 13-yard line. What a nice run by number 35, Paul Turnbull.
That was a great run, but I thought he was gone too, DB, and it looked like that Nick Anderson got in there and got the best of him.
He had a lot of green space in front of him, but the speed of Nick Anderson chasing him down from behind helped prevent a touchdown. But like I said, some things that will help turn in your favor in a ball game can be turnovers. And a costly turnover early on here by the Wolves, giving the Tides good field position in Wolf territory as the Wolves come out. 1st and 10 from the 13.
Here comes that Gig Harbor offense.
They pitch the ball off to Turnbull on the right. He's not going to go very far as we see somebody's mouthpiece come flying out there. So we got some big hits going on. Turnbull will get a couple, though, on the play. And it'll be 2nd down and 7 with the ball spotted at the 10. So the momentum tremendously changing here in the Tide's favor.
And along with those mouthpieces flying out of their mouths, it looks like that South Kitsap is wearing little flags on the back of their helmets and in commemoration of Tuesday's tragedies.
All South Kitsap football players having the American flag put on their helmets. As the Tides come out, they have trips to the right side with a lone setback. They roll out to the left-hand side. Coleman, but he's flushed out of the pocket. And he is taken down by the Wolves, number 8, Nick Anderson. Nice stop there by the Wolves.
Looks like Andrew's son got in there as well, number 4.
So a nice defensive stop there with a loss of 2 on the play, and it'll be 3rd and 9 for the Tides. And they want to keep their momentum going here. They'd like to get into that end zone. As the Tides break the huddle, Coleman carefully looking over the defense, trips to the right. He rolls out to the right. He's looking for his intended receiver. Nobody's open. He throws it, and it's overthrown, intended for Campos, incomplete.
They stacked that right side with those wideouts, and it looked like they were just fading to the right, and then the guy couldn't get open.
So the Tides fail on 3 possessions here, on 3 downs, and it looks like they will be bringing in the field goal unit to attempt a field goal. The ball is spotted. We'll call it the 13. Looks like it'll be a 30-yard field goal attempt. As Andy Willis will attempt the kick. There's the snap. The kick is up. And it is good. So the Tides come away with 3 points here. And with 1:14 remaining in the first quarter, the South Kitsap Wolves lead the Gig Harbor Tides 13-3.
Looks like penalties killed us on that one, DB.
Well, just when we had the ball, there was a clipping penalty called against the Wolves, and it resulted in 3 points. Even though I know that the Tides might be a little disappointed that they weren't able to get into the end zone, especially with the fine running by Paul Turnbull, who gained about 30 yards on one play to get the ball down to the 13. But the Wolves' defense held strong, and they were able to maintain the Tides to only 3 points So we will see the first kickoff by the Tides tonight as number 34, Ryan Cole, and number 8, Nick Anderson, are deep to receive. Willis ready to kick for the Tides. There's the kick. It's a low end-over-end kick, fielded by Anderson at the 2-yard line with a nice wedge. Anderson tries to break free right up through the middle, and he gets to the 23-yard line. So a return of about 21 yards where the Wolves will take over 1st and 10.
It's like he split those 2 tackles coming up the right hash marks.
Say, folks, Dr. Beverly Cheney, our new district superintendent, is inviting community members to meet with her one-on-one. If you'd like to talk with her about the South Kitsap School District or any other issues of concern, contact the district office to make an appointment. So the Wolves break away from the sideline. Fine split left, Anderson right, and their regular I formation. But the whistles blow, and they may have taken a little too much time to get the play off. So we're looking for a delay of game call here. And the Wolves will scoot back about 5 more yards. And that's what it is, a delay of game. So a couple of penalties here. But hopefully the Wolves will be able to recover as Travis Vetters is getting the play call from Coach Sigurdsson on the sideline here.
It's like number 33. Richard Fine is out on the left side.
They hand the ball off to Cole. He doesn't get much room, and he's stopped at the 20-yard line for a gain of only about 2 yards. So a nice defensive stop there as the Tides were able to sneak under the Wolves' offensive line for a good defensive stop there. And it will be 2nd down and 13 yards to go. Well, the Wolves have proven to be very dangerous, though, back in their own territory with a couple of long touchdowns by Nick Anderson and Ryan Cole. So we'll see what kind of damage the Wolves can do here. As Vetters gets the handoff, fakes the handoff to Cole. He rolls out to left, being flushed out of the pocket, and right before he goes down, he's able to get rid of the ball. A nice defensive play there.
It's like intentional grounding, DB.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's going to be a close one because number 44, Matt Sessiger for Gig Harbor, had broken through the line and was chasing him down, but right when Vetters was going down, it looked like he was trying to get rid of the ball, and I know that there was a receiver in the vicinity. That's right, that's what I thought.
There we go.
You bet. An inadvertent flag there. He did. He had a receiver near him throwing to him. Now, if he didn't, obviously that would be intentional grounding. But right as he was being taken down, Vetters was able to get rid of the ball. So a nice play there by South Kitsap. Looks like a little confusion as Sean Banks is coming into the game. And out comes Richard Fine.
It's like 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. I don't know if they're just going to let it play out or not.
As they're going to try and get the play off here before it runs out. Will they be able to do it? They do. They hand the ball off to Cole. He gets a big hole. He steps over a few Tide defenders, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but only to the advantage of the Wolves are they ahead here at the end of the first quarter, 13-3 over the Gig Harbor Tides as they will change ends. And so far, Phil, we have seen the dominant control of the running game by that big offensive line, creating those huge holes for number 34, Ryan Cole.
Exactly. Looks like some good routes drawn up by the offensive coordinator and Mr. Sigurdsson. Seems like he can just cut back, and he's just got moves that you can't teach a person. Seems like he can split the tackle, and he can roll right and cut back and just take it all the way. Excellent speed.
Well, I know that the South Kitsap football coaching staff is one of the best in the state, and they also proved it there. But not only having Ryan Cole
touch the ball for most of the time, but also with a very nice quarterback in number 11, Travis Vetters, who earlier connected on a very long touchdown pass play to Nick Anderson. So the Wolves are showing that they have all kinds of angles to attack their opponents with, as we're about ready to get started here in the second quarter of play.
Exactly. When you get those big, tall wide receivers, you can run inside routes on them and just throw the ball inside. With their big size, they can reach up and catch that ball.
And actually, that last play was third down, so the Wolves will be punting for the first time as Travis Vetters gets an end-over-end kick down the middle, fielded by number 5 for the Tides. He dances around a little bit, but he is met by another pack of Wolves. That was Brett Shearer on the punt on the reception, and the Tides will take over at their own 46-yard line.
It's like he had it there, but he dropped it, and that little bit of hesitation right there really took its toll.
So the Tides will come out looking for offensive control here. Dual wide receivers, number 9, man in motion to the right. They hand the ball off to Turnbull. He doesn't get very much, though, as he's stopped there by number 58, Buddy Anderson. And again, there's his little brother, number 13, Chris. So the Anderson brothers doing some damage.
Looks like Mr. Turnbull didn't have that good blocking on that play, but as you can tell, he's a good running back. It just didn't look like he had that blocking for him.
Well, the Wolves have Ryan Cole, but the Gig Harbor Tides have number 35, Paul Turnbull, who's doing an excellent job running the ball for them as they send Anthony Campos split to the left. They hand the ball off on a double handoff, and they get the ball inside. A nice little double handoff there from the wing T formation.
There's Brett Shearer, the guy who was going to return that kick. Got great speed. He just like a double handoff. That's really creative.
They handed the ball off to Turnbull, but in that wing T, they double hand off that ball to Shearer, and he got up the middle for a gain of about 15 yards. So the Tides doing a nice job here of controlling the ball as they will take over as crossing into Wolf territory. First down at the South Kitsap 40-yard line.
This Gig Harbor offense really seems to have the momentum going for him right now.
Euchre goes in motion. They hand the ball up to Turnbull. He's got a lot of room on the right-hand side. He's hit by the defense, but he stays on his feet, and he's going to cross the 25-yard line. Another huge gain by Turnbull. And the Tides are just running over the South Kitsap defense right now.
Exactly. They're 1 for 1 in the red zone here. They're in the red zone right now. Let's see what they can do.
Turnbull with a couple of nice runs here, gaining some big yards.
Oh, I'm sorry, it didn't look like they made it into the red zone. Looks like they're on the 21.
The Tides will have the ball at, we'll call it the 23. They hand the ball inside up to Turnbull. There he goes. Turnbull's heading for the end zone, and he is going to make a touchdown. He just barely got in. Oh, but we're going to call it all back. There's a flag back at the line of scrimmage. It looked like they might have called holding.
It's like penalties being a problem for both teams.
This could be a costly turnover for the Tides as they scored a touchdown 23 yards out. Turnbull. And interestingly enough, he crossed the end zone right as the referee got barreled over by both the tackler and the runner, but it's all coming back. And that can't make the head coach for Gig Harbor very happy. It is. It's a holding penalty on the Tides, so take away the 6 points and scoot them back 10 more yards. And it'll be a very long first down for the Tides. Costly turnovers for both sides, key here early on in the contest as the Tides come out in the wing T with split wide receivers. Coleman drops back, he rolls out to the left, nobody was open, and he was able to scoot forward.
Coleman had all kinds of room in that pocket there. You can't let him have that, otherwise he's going to kill you.
You give Coleman any time to throw, and he's going to hit his targets right on the money. So Turnbull, or Coleman, excuse me, gets, gosh, I tell you what, those guys are going to have to wear name tags. Coleman gets up. It'll be 2nd down and 12 yards to go for Gig Harbor.
Exactly. This is high school football. I mean, the quarterbacks here are really experienced, and if you give any of them any time to go.
Coleman looking for trips to the right. They pass the ball to Willis. A quick hit to the right, and using his speed and agility, he's able to beat the cornerback, and I believe that's going to be a 1st down. A huge gain on that play. A gain of about 15 yards, and they're going to be inside Wolf territory, inside the 10-yard line.
It's like the quarterback hit number 3, Brian Mister, with the little screen pass, something like that. With that great speed, just run it right.
It'll be
outside.
1st and goal for Gig Harbor at the 9-yard line. So the Tides threatening again here with 9:10 remaining in the first half, and they show that trips formation to the right. Coleman looks for the quick hit, and it is caught by Willis. We're waiting for a signal, but he got close to the goal line but did not catch it, and it looks like, I believe that was Willis.
It's like they're on the 1-yard line, DB. 1 or 2-yard line.
Could have been Campos. We're sorry we weren't able to get the clear number on that, but it looked like whoever it was almost trapped the ball, but not according to the officials here tonight. So the Tides are knocking on the door. It'll be 2nd and goal from about the 1.5-yard line.
It's like they just stacked that one side with wide receivers and let him go.
So the Tides looking to score here, but another penalty flag, and it looks, I think that's going to be illegal motion on the offense, and they start heading back our way.
Here we go, another penalty, DB.
Another costly penalty for the Tides, so they're going to scoot them back 5 yards, and again, it's going to be just a little more difficult here. So a couple of key penalties for both sides, preventing the Wolves maintaining possession early on, leading to Tides scoring, and Gig Harbor here again, another penalty, scooting him back 2nd and goal, but this time from about the 7-yard line. We'll call it 6. Trips to the left. Coleman rolls out to his right. Looks for a man open in the end zone, and incomplete, but another penalty flag, and that's going to be pass interference on South Kitsap.
Just to see a maroon over there to the right, they had so much coverage over there.
The South Kitsap secondary looked like they did a nice job, but the defensive back must have had his hand just slightly on the back of the receiver, and it will be a pass interference call, which will be a huge gain. Well, not a huge gain, but at least it gets the Tides a little bit closer to the goal line, where it will also be a 1st down.
It's 1st down, Tides at the 3.
So lately we see those yellow flags coming out here as with 7:59 remaining in the first half, Gig Harbor threatening to score against South Kitsap. They come out in the wing tee. They hand the ball off to Turnbull on the left side, but he is stopped short of the goal line. He gets down.
It's like 1st down and 3.
He gets down to about the 2-yard line. Oh, we'll call it the 1-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal for Gig Harbor.
Just hope they don't get a penalty.
So Carr and Turnbull will be in the backfield for Gig Harbor. Whistle blows, temporary delay, but they get the clock going now, and Coleman on the keeper, and he sneaks in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Gig Harbor.
Just took it up the gut.
A little quarterback sneak right over the center, and that will get Gig Harbor into the end zone. So the Gig Harbor Tides finally get into the end zone.
Yeah, if you remember, about 7 plays ago, they would have gotten into the end zone, but that laundry kept them from doing it.
A couple of those penalty flags keeping them out, but that time they were able to get in. And Willis with a low kick, but nevertheless, it still goes up and over and the Gig Harbor Tides have inched closer to a 13-10 lead, or trailing South Kitsap 13-10 with 7:16 to go. So this classic rivalry is squaring off to be quite a game here today, Phil.
Exactly. Just seems like they just had a monkey on their back. They couldn't score, but they got up there and they finally did it. Every time, every costly play, every big play, there was always something, but this time there wasn't. They got through with that quarterback sneak.
So the Tide's doing a nice job of controlling the run, and they are on the board, making this a very close contest. And we'd also like to make a couple of announcements here that the South Kitsap School District needs substitute teachers and bus drivers. If you are interested, contact the district office at 876-7300. And a quick note to parents that October 11th is an early release day for students, and then no school on October 12th. Staff will be holding training and planning sessions. And I tell you what, Phil, you students have it easy, boy. You guys get to have all this time off, and we still have to keep going to work. But it's all for good. As Nick Anderson receives the kickoff at about the 8-yard line, and he is quickly taken down.
Good special teams by Gig Harbor. Got tackled early. Good deep kick, too.
He's taken down, looks like number 5, Brett Shearer for the Tide. So a little momentum building up here for Gig Harbor as the Wolves will see what they can do deep in their own territory. We'll call it 1st and 10 from the South Kitsap 25-yard line. So the Wolves come out in the I formation. They hand the ball off to Cole. He dances around a few tacklers. Gains about 5 on the play to the 30. It'll be 2nd and 5. And again, South Kitsap turning to Ryan Cole to get some yards on the ground.
See if we'll see that same strategy here. Just hit it with the run, and then come out with a pass.
Well, it would be nice for South Kitsap if they could control the ball here going into halftime.
Exactly.
Fine split left. Vetters with a 3-step drop, looks in the middle. Oh, and it's almost intercepted.
Number 40 looks like he's getting congratulated by his teammates. Brett Kirshner.
Nice stop there, good coverage. And Vetters, I don't know if you ever saw the inside linebacker core right there. He was looking for Fine on the left side as he took that little 3-step drop, but the pass was incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 5 for the Wolves. They hand the ball off to Cole. He gets a big hole. He makes a cut back to the inside, stays on his feet.
What a great run.
Boy, he just stumbles around, and he's going to get about 12 yards on the run there. A nice bit of running by Ryan Cole.
Just keeps his feet moving the whole time, DB. It's amazing to watch this guy run.
He had a nice counter play back to the right side, made a cut back to the middle. About 3 or 4 Gig Harbor Tides were there to meet him, but he was able to escape their hands and kept it going. So 1st and 10 for the Wolves at the 47-yard line, and a handoff straight up the middle, but he's going nowhere as the defensive line for the Gig Harbor Tides makes a nice stop. After only a couple on the play, it'll be 2nd and 8, as it looks like we're going to have an official's timeout on the field. It looks like there's a South Kitsap player who's limping a bit.
Number 51, Scott Caston. He's on the field for a while. The coach is talking to him right now.
As Patrick Olson, who is one of our head athletic trainers, goes out onto the field to attend to our injured South Kitsap player, but he looks like he's just limping around a little bit. Could be an ankle, but looks like he's going to be okay. As Vetters takes a couple of snaps here near Coach Sigurdsson, who, Phil, like I was saying, what an excellent football staff, coaching staff that we have here at South Kitsap High School. And that is one of the reasons why this program has been so successful.
Exactly.
They're just wonderful coaches and all around wonderful human beings. And I know that several of them are personal close friends of mine, and I enjoy working with them every single day.
when you have this many kids in one school, you'd figure that they'd have a few bad teachers, but it seems like at South Kitsap there's no bad seats here. They're just all good people, good-hearted.
So the Wolves break the huddle. They pitch the ball out to Cole, but he's not going anywhere. He's going to be taken down for a huge loss.
Number 5 looked like got that play. Brett
That's
Shearer.
Shearer on the play stayed home, broke off the tackle, and he followed Ryan Cole for a huge loss of about 10 yards. It'll be 3rd and 20 for the South Kitsap Wolves. Great defensive stop there.
Ball on the South Kitsap 39. With looks like 3rd and 18.
So the Wolves a long way to go here. 3rd and 18. Vetters hands the ball straight up the middle, and the Wolves aren't going to take any chances here. So a conservative running play here will get the ball to the 39. So after a couple of big running plays by South Kitsap, a nice defensive stop here by Gig Harbor, and the Wolves will be forced to punt it away.
Why don't you think they went for it there, DB?
Well, it looked like they had a little bit of momentum taken away right there after that huge loss by Cole, and rather than risk a long pass downfield for an interception, they just decided to hand the ball straight up the middle and take their chances of kicking it away on 4th down, which Vetters does. A nice kick straight down the middle. Fielded by Shearer, who fumbles the ball around the 20, but he picks it up, stays on his feet, jukes a little bit, makes a nice cut up the right-hand side, and he gets about 10 yards on the return to the 30.
Shearer just looks like he's Butterfingers out there. I mean, he can run, but when he gets the ball, he can run with it, but he can't catch it.
So Gig Harbor makes a nice defensive stop, getting the ball back with 4:17 remaining in the first half. And they'll have a first down at their own 30-yard line. What a game here tonight.
Yes, sir. Shearer gets some good field position at the 30.
Coleman hands the ball off to Turnbull. He stays on his feet. He's hit hard by Sean Banks at the 40, but I think he might be just a little bit short.
Gosh, Bowden with that wing T offense, it's hard to keep track with all those handoffs.
Takes a little bit getting used to, as they have so many options to hand the ball off to runners, but Turnbull gets a nice carry on the play, and it's just inside the 40. It'll be 2nd down and 1 yard to go. Coleman looks over the defense. They hand the ball up to Turnbull. And he's hit hard, but just past the line of scrimmage. And that should be a first down for Gig Harbor, even though he was stuck pretty hard there by number 45, John Embaum.
Nice play by Embaum, just stacking him at the line. Seems like every time they try to bring it inside, it doesn't work for him because those big, beefy guys up at the line just stop him. They either cut back or they run it around to the outside. That seems that all that's working for the running game, but it is working with Paul Turnbull.
So the Tide's doing a nice job of controlling the offense here, heading into the half. Coleman hands the ball off to Turnbull again. He stays on his feet. Oh, and he's hit hard by number 4 for South Kitsap, Andy Sun. And boy, he made a nice hit there, kept driving his feet and took Turnbull to the ground. But that was after he gained 4 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 6, Gig Harbor.
Exactly. It seemed like that hurt to get hit by that 6'1", 198-pound linebacker in Anthony Sun.
I'll tell you what, Sun is one tough kid. I wouldn't want to get hit by that guy if I was carrying the ball, I'll tell you that much.
Andy Sun, I'm sorry.
So the Tides come out, wing T, Turnbull in motion. They hand the ball off again here, but they're not going anywhere on this one.
Good stop.
A nice defensive stop as the line stayed home on a little counter by the Tides, but they're going to lose a couple on the play there, so it was bound to happen, but South Kitsap shut that one down. It'll be 3rd and 8.
16-minute run.
Actually, we'll call it 3rd and 9 from the 43. Coleman drops back, looks left, He's got a man open in the middle. It's caught. It's caught by number 8. He's still on his feet.
But there's a flag.
Campos.
There's a flag. Hold up.
In that tripped formation, 2 wide receivers stayed left. Looked like blown coverage. Campos cut to the middle. And a nice catch there. We'll have to wait and see what the flag's all about.
That's a good route run by Campos, and looked like a quarterback had pretty good time right there in the passing zone.
Looks like it'll be about a 28-yard pass and reception. A nice run there by Campos afterwards. The penalty was against South Kitsap. Spot the ball at the South Kitsap 29. So the Tides threatening here going into the first half as they get trips to the right side again. Coleman drops back, rolls out to the right, looking for a man in the flat, and he's hit hard. Oh my, is he hit hard by number 3, Sean Banks, who was right there on the coverage. Great defensive play. It'll be 2nd down and 6 for the Tides.
Not only great defensive play, that was good pressure applied by South Kitsap. It's like Coleman didn't, they had the route run, but it was just, they forced him so much to where he couldn't get the pass off in time. Seemed he was rushed right there.
55 seconds remaining here in the first half. Trips to the left. Coleman with the quick hit to the left. He hits Willis. He stays on his feet, but he stays in bounds. And the clock will keep ticking as they get a few yards on the play. But time is stopped here as Gig Harbor will call their first timeout. So 41 seconds remaining here, and Gig Harbor is going to hope that they get into that end zone and possibly could have the lead. So the momentum was definitely the way of the Wolf early on in this contest, but after a key penalty, which would have given the South Kitsap Wolves the ball, ended up going the way of the Tides as they were able to get a field goal, and then the defense has really come on here late in the first half, and Gig Harbor has pulled to within a 13-10 lead and are threatening here again shortly before the half. And I got to tell you, Phil, Gig Harbor is doing an excellent job here of controlling the ball.
It's like that momentum has just shifted. South Kitsap had it early on, but Gig Harbor and that Paul Turnbull and Tyler Coleman combination has just really turned this game around.
Well, we'll see what the Wolves can do here on defense. And we know that Gig Harbor will come out with a high-powered attack, so and the momentum going their way.
Let's see if they stack those receivers to that one side this time.
Well, they have trips to the right. Burley split left. Coleman rolls out to the right, cuts up the middle. He looks for a man, and he does. He has Willis, who stays on his feet.
Just kept his feet moving the whole time. Good
a nice
play.
Reception by Willis. And Gig Harbor, actually we have a couple of players down.
It's like Coleman, number 12, quarterback for Gig Harbor. Coleman's down.
We're not sure who the other injured South Kitsap player is, but we'll wait and see here as the athletic trainers tend to both players.
It seemed to me like Coleman was just about ready to get up, but he just got back down. Hope he's not hurt too bad. Hope the other guy's not hurt too bad.
Well, we hope neither player's hurt very bad, and I'll tell you what, there isn't a whole lot of movement going on down there, but they're in really good hands. So we'll wait and see what's going on. I wasn't able to see exactly what happened on the play as Willis caught the pass from Coleman. We were focused a little more downfield, but now the injured player for Gig Harbor is sitting up, and also for South Kitsap, so that's a very good sign, and maybe just both of these guys had the wind knocked out of them. And that's right, that's Coleman. That's Coleman for Gig Harbor.
I haven't got a name on the other player for South.
The man down for South Kitsap's number 55, Matt Christenberry. So might have had just a run in here, but I know Christenberry, and he's one tough kid, so I know that he'll bounce up here pretty quick.
I hope that's just what it is. Both players seem to get the wind knocked out of them. Just take a breather. There he goes. He's up.
Looks like they both might have had their bell rung, but Christenberry comes walking off the field a little slowly. So looks like both players will be okay as time is momentarily stopped here. With 34 seconds left in the first half, South Kitsap leading 13-10, but Gig Harbor is threatening to score once again.
Let's hope that doesn't stop Coleman's momentum as he had going there. Just a great run going for him, but let's hope he doesn't stop him.
But with both players being injured, each man has to come off the field for at least one play. So Gig Harbor will have a new quarterback here for one play, and we'll see what the Wolves can do on the stop. And it looks like Christenberry is dazed a little bit there. That's number 10, Ryan Ennert. They hand the ball straight up the middle. Looks like to Turnbull, he stays on his feet. A nice power run off the right guard.
Gig Harbor calls timeout with 20 seconds to go.
That's number 10, Ryan Emmett, who came in to replace Coleman for just one play.
Did a pretty good job handing that ball off too, I thought so.
So Coach DJ Sigurdsson is going to meet with his players here on the sideline, and he's going to try and get them all pumped up here for a key stop heading into halftime.
It's like Mr. Darren McKay is talking to his players as well.
You can see a couple of the other coaches down there. Jim Fairweather, Ernie Hahn, Dave Goodwin, Eric Canton. Concerned about this drive here. The Wolves hoping for a stop. So Gig Harbor will have a second down at the South Kitsap 6-yard line.
Let's see what kind of set they come out this time. It's like the wing T again, with one wide receiver out to the right side.
Coleman rolls out to his left, looks for a man open in the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Gig Harbor! Andy Willis with a 6-yard touchdown reception, and you're not going to believe this, but another penalty flag. It's a holding call against Gig Harbor, and that's the second time tonight that Gig Harbor will have touchdowns called back because of holding penalties. Holy cow.
I just don't believe this. I mean, it seems like every single time that a crucial play is about to happen, here comes that laundry. God.
So Gig Harbor looked like they were going to have the lead heading into halftime, but erased that last touchdown catch by Andy Willis from Coleman. And instead of a touchdown, the Gig Harbor Tides are going to have a second down and forever.
Okay, South Kitsap 20 looks like.
With 14 seconds to go in the game. Coleman with chips right rolls out to his right. He looks for a man in the flat. The ball is incomplete.
Good
nice
pass
coverage there by number 3, Sean Banks.
My words exactly. Good pass coverage by number 3, Sean Banks. He can stay with the guy. He's got that great speed. Co-captain right there.
A nice stop on the play, and it'll be third down and 17 to go for the Tide.
And not only was that good pass coverage, it was also good rushing right there, where they rushed the passer. It seems like he's hurried every time.
So the Tides hopefully will get a little bit closer so they could at least attempt possibly a field goal. Trips right. Coleman rolls to his left, looks for the single wide receiver out to the left-hand side, and it's going to be incomplete. incomplete, but there's a flag down on the play, and that's going to be pass interference against South Kitsap.
That's a big hurt. That's the worst. That's a terrible penalty to get, but I don't know.
Boy, all of a sudden, the skies are just being littered with yellow flags here as a huge penalty against Gig Harbor.
It's like DJ's upset over there.
Oh, I'm sure Coach Sigurdsson's got to be out of his mind right now, along with the rest of the South Kitsap coaching staff. An earlier penalty
I think both teams
negated a touchdown by Gig Harbor, but now this is going to get them closer. But with 6 seconds to go here, Gig Harbor is going to have to get into the end zone, and they're going to have to make a decision here. Do you go for a touchdown, or should we go for the field goal? And it looks like they're going to bring the field goal unit in onto the field.
Nice job of playing conservative. I mean, there's a chance that they could get intercepted. Those guys in the backfield, those cornerbacks can really, they've shown that they can stay with those receivers, and they got good coverage out there.
The South Kitsap coach is just screaming for a timeout as Gig Harbor, with 6 seconds to go, will attempt a field goal here right before half, hopefully to tie this contest up.
I don't know, DB. It just looks like both teams are really in for it at the half with their coaches. Seems like they're going to have a long talk.
Well, the ball is going to be spotted at the 10-yard line, so Andy Willis will be attempting a 27-yard field goal to tie this match up and hopefully head in with a 13-13 tie. So the first quarter belonged to the South Kitsap Wolves, and it even looked like the beginning of the second quarter would be owned by them as well, but the momentum changed, and Gig Harbor has come back with 10 points to make this a close game.
It's that big penalty again. Shows up.
Penalties will hurt both sides, as evident here tonight. As number 19, Josh Meeker, along the sidelines for the Wolves, trying to get this crowd pumped up, get some noise here. So here we go, the Tides attempting a field goal. The snap, the kick is up, and it is good. Andy Willis with a 27-yard field goal ties this game up at 13-all. And with only 3 seconds remaining, we can only guess that Gig Harbor will have some kind of a squib kick, not giving South Kitsap any opportunity for a run back. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if South Kitsap just took a knee after receiving it when they're down, and they can just head into the locker room here at halftime with a 13-13 tie.
Definitely, they're playing conservative, and it's really working out for Gig Harbor right now, keeping the momentum on their side.
So Anderson and Cole will be back deep to receive for the Wolves. Little squib kick there. It bounces off of a South Kitsap player, but time has expired here. No damage can be done from that. They are talking it over on the sidelines, but the Wolves will be heading into the locker room. And here at halftime, the South Kitsap Wolves and Gig Harbor Tides are tied at 13-all. As Gig Harbor has banded together, and they're looking for a lot of support from their sideline crowd, and I don't think we expected anything more or anything less from tonight's classic rival contest between South Kitsap and Gig Harbor.
Definitely, both teams making a valiant effort. First quarter owned by South Kitsap Wolves, and then here comes the Gig Harbor Tides. Who would have thought? Just penalties have really hurt South Kitsap Wolves, but here come the Gig Harbor Tides. You better watch out.
Well, we saw a lot of ball control by the South Kitsap Wolves as Ryan Cole gained a lot of yards here in the first half. And but with the nice running game of Gig Harbor by number 35, Paul Turnbull, who has counterparted Cole. And we're seeing a good contest here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a little break here at halftime with South Kitsap and Gig Harbor tied at 13. Welcome back, everyone, and we're just getting ready here for the second half. This is Darren Bowden, and joining me in the booth again is Phil Wilson. And Phil, we've seen quite an interesting contest here so far in the first half between this classic rival, Gig Harbor and South Kitsap.
Yes, this is a very exciting game. I mean, I heard the score last year was 27-7. I didn't expect it to be this close, but at 13-13, it's a real battle.
Well, when you get two rivals playing against each other, records don't matter, and neither do the size of the strength of each team. And Gig Harbor is really holding their own here, as some people thought, especially with the opening few drives that the Wolves had, a 40-yard touchdown pass to Nick Anderson from Travis Vetters, and then a 60-yard touchdown run by Ryan Cole. But after a missed extra point, and one key penalty that went against South Kitsap, and it looked like that seemed to take a little bit of wind out of their sail.
Not only that, did a few people think that that South had it right from the get-go. I thought that too as well, but that penalty can really kill you. It just took away their momentum right away, and it seems like South Kitsap has got to get their momentum going.
Well, the penalty flags kept coming out, trading back and forth, as twice the Gig Harbor Tides were in the end zone for 6 points, but both times those calls or those touchdowns were negated by penalty flags, both holding calls on the offensive line from Gig Harbor. And instead of 12 points, the Gig Harbor Tides were only able to come away with 6. So the score here, heading into the second half of play, South Kitsap and Gig Harbor deadlocked at 13 as the captains meet at midfield and they shake hands as we are going to get ready to get underway here. And
South Kitsap will be on the receiving end this time. It seems like either Nick Anderson or Ryan Cole break it out for him and get good field position for him.
So the Wolves will hopefully get good field position, and we'll see what they can do here at the beginning of the second half of play. We'd also like to announce that there will be a school board meeting on Monday, September 17th at 7 p.m. at the district office. Come and find out what's going on in the South Kitsap School District.
There'll also be an open house September 20th, 6:30 to 8:30 at South Kitsap. Parents and community members are invited.
So Cole and Anderson for South Kitsap back to receive the kick from Willis. As we get underway here in the second half, Anderson fields the ball near his own goal line, makes a few moves, stays up the right-hand side, and he's taken out just past the 25-yard line by number 4, Peter Burley.
I was going to say that was a good tackle, and that was a good kick as well by the Gig Harbor kicker.
Anderson had a nice wall formed in the middle, made a cut back to the right side, and for a moment he looked like he had an open field there down the right side, but a nice tackle, a nice saving tackle by Burley, as the Wolves will have a 1st and 10. Ball will be spotted at the 26. Vetters hands the ball off to Cole, dances up the middle, gets to the outside.
Look at that speed.
Ryan Cole looks like he could be gone after Willis is taking chase. He stops, Willis goes by, and a nice run here by Ryan Cole.
Nice run, but that was a nice tackle too, catching up to one of the fastest runners in Washington State. That's a tough task. And number 1, Andy Willis did that. Took him down by the feet, take those big guys down by the feet, and that's the way to go.
A 40-yard gain by Ryan Cole, and he's got to be a little bit tired after that one as he's coming out for a little break here. So Victor Valle comes in. As you can see, he had a nice hole, cut back up the middle, danced around a little bit, and he got the gain there. So Victor Valle gets the handoff, gets straight up the middle for a nice gain, a huge gain by Victor Valle.
You can tell he's pumped.
A junior tailback.
Hasn't been in there all that often, but when he does get that ball, he shows the coaches he can really take it to the hole.
Gain of 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 2 for the Wolves in Gig Harbor territory. Spot the ball at the 27-yard line. They hand the ball off to Valle. He gets a quick step, and he will make it past that first down marker. Nice run by Victor Valle, giving Ryan Cole a little spill here.
Doing a nice job of it, too. Looks like this running game is going to be deep for South Kitsap for some time.
Victor Valle doing a nice job there, and Victor's an excellent runner, so you bet he will be able to succeed at running back, passing Ryan Cole. Vetters hands the ball off to Cole. He will get a couple on the play. Nice stop there by the Tides defense near the 20. Place the ball at the 21, a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7, South Kitsap. And that's one thing that the South Kitsap Wolves have been rich in over the last several years is at running back. Ryan Cole, of course, with that great season last year, rushing, and preceding him was another nice tailback by the name of Roger Cooper.
Both wearing the number of 24.
But
34.
Cole gets the handoff for a counter play. Oh, and the ball is stripped! The ball was stripped! Picked up by Campos! Can you believe it? I thought Cole was down!
No, I thought he was down too.
I thought Cole was down, and Campos just ripped the ball right out of Cole's hands.
Looks like the play's going to stand. I don't see any flags out there at all, DB.
And about 45 yards later, the Gig Harbor Tides, off another costly turnover, will take over possession in South Kitsap territory. Can you believe it?
Ryan Cole's got to be steaming about that right now. So does Mr. Segerson as well.
Well, the South Kitsap coaches can't be happy with some of these penalties that are really hurting the Wolves here. The ball is handed to Turnbull, and he just powers his way across the line of scrimmage.
Just turning, making those feet move, keeping going, and never giving up. That's Mr. Turnbull.
But that South Kitsap defense holds strong as number 58, 58, Buddy Anderson comes out of the game here. What a turn of events. A huge run by Ryan Cole, completely turned around by a turnover. Coleman hands the ball off to number 5. That's Shearer. Shearer's going to go all the way. He's going to score a touchdown, Gig Harbor.
Shearer just looked like he's got the speed. He can take it right up the middle.
That wing T offense got the offense and the defense moving to the right side. Shearer takes the handoff, and he goes straight up the middle for a touchdown.
And he looked like he was untouched there, too. He didn't have to twist. He didn't have to cut back. He just went straight for the end zone.
So after the huge turnover by South Kitsap, Gig Harbor takes advantage and puts 6 points on the board. Willis with the kick. It is up and good. So the momentum has surely changed here at Joe Knowles Stadium as the Gig Harbor Tides take the lead for the first time in this game with 9:14 remaining in the third quarter, 20-13. And Phil, we got to see how this Gig Harbor Tides offense and defense has really changed this momentum.
It's amazing. Let's just see if the Gig Harbor offense is going to get flags on their penalties too. It seems like if they break out a big run, get a whole bunch of yards, and they're just going to get brought right back. that's a story for South Kitsap, and that might be the story for Gig Harbor as well, but they've really put the points on the board in the last few quarters.
Ryan Cole has done an excellent job tonight running the ball for South Kitsap behind that big offensive line. But I got to tell you that Gig Harbor's offensive line's creating a few holes themselves, as number 35, Paul Turnbull, is having a huge game tonight.
That touchdown scored by Brett Shearer. Again, that guy went in there untouched.
So Willis with the kick. It will be fielded by Ryan Cole at about the 10-yard line. He heads up the middle, tries to leap over a couple of defenders, and he will make it to the 35-yard line. A nice return of 25 yards by Ryan Cole.
That was a great run. Giving South Kitsap good field position, just leaping over that big pile of Gig Harbor linemen.
We'll see what the Wolves can do here on offense, and hopefully they'll be able to hang on to that football.
Might be able to surprise Gig Harbor with a pass a few times. Haven't seen Vetters throw the ball since that really nice play in the first quarter with that touchdown right up the middle.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we did see the offense mix it up a little bit here, even though that running game has been very strong.
Cole's got to be tired.
Vetters fakes the handoff. He looks straight down the middle for Josh Meeker. And he's
There goes Meeker!
Josh Meeker stays on his feet. He's going to dance into the end zone. Touchdown, Josh Meeker.
Nice play. What did I tell you, DB?
My main man, Josh Meeker, with a touchdown catch.
Wow. They faked it to Ryan Cole just like they do. I mean, I thought Ryan Cole was going to go with it as well, but wow, what a long bomb by Travis Vetter to Josh Meeker.
A 65-yard touchdown strike from Vetters to Meeker, and the Wolves, just like that, get on the board.
Just one big play, and it brought them right back into the game. Not that they were out of it, DB.
Vetters made a nice handoff fake to Cole straight up the middle, kept the ball on his hip. Meeker broke free, got one step on the defense, and he made a nice catch. So I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a catch by Josh Meeker, and especially to stay on his feet and waltz into that end zone.
Yes, sir. He's got to be proud of that. All the South Kitsap players seem to be stoked and ready to go now. It's like this one big play can turn them around for him. As they are now tied 20-20.
The extra point was good. So in a matter of seconds, South Kitsap scores on a 65-yard touchdown pass play from Vetters to Meeker. What a game here tonight at Joe Knowles Stadium.
This isn't exciting. I don't know what it is. This is a great game.
And I'll tell you, Phil, we can't have a game without making a comment about the beloved cheerleaders here at South Kitsap who are doing their push-ups, and I don't know about that set right there. Now, I had a chance to speak with a few of these cheerleaders in the hallways before the game, and I clearly explained to them that they had to do very good push-ups, but I don't know, we might have to have a review on that last set.
I think they might need a little demonstration there, DB. Break it out right in the halls for them.
I'll tell you what, they're one heck of a cheerleading squad.
That's right.
Just wonderful young ladies, and we're proud to have them here at our high school. As the kick is off, and it's fielded by Turnbull at about the 14. He heads up, straight up the middle.
Seems like they're having Turnbull return kicks, but they did have Shearer back there, but I'd rather see the ball go to Turnbull if I were Gig Harbor.
And Turnbull was taken down at the 32-yard line by number 23, Jeremiah Martin, a 5'9", 164-pound senior. So we'll see what the Tides can do here after that long touchdown play by South Kitsap. Pass is made to Turnbull out in the right flat. Turnbull stays on his feet.
Number 7, Jeff Goodwin with the tackle, bringing him out of bounds.
Coleman with a straight drop back, dumps it off quick to Turnbull.
Good pressure applied by number 58.
Not much on the gain, though. It looks like only a gain of 1. It'll be 2nd and 9.
That was Buddy Anderson that applied that pressure. That was a good job.
Campos splits left. All that tricky handoff there in that wing tee.
We've seen that before.
Actually, it was number 4, Peter Burley, split left. They get a few yards on the play.
It's like SK wasn't fooled that time.
I think South Kitsap starting to adapt to that wing tee a little bit.
And with that big play right in their bag, I mean, they are stoked. Gig Harbor's got to get it done on this play.
A gain of 4, it'll be 3rd and 5, so a big play here. Coleman trying to draw the defense off sides. They get a quick pitch off the Turnbull. He makes a nice cut up the middle. Oh, and he just barrels his way over some South Kitsap defenders.
That's a good block. I didn't see whoever that was, but whoever was in front of Turnbull made an excellent block. I thought for sure that guy was going to get him, but it didn't. That was a great block.
Turnbull was hit hard by number 3, Sean Banks. The Turnbull kept those knees driving, and he gets across for the first down. The ball will be at the 44-yard line. Few substitutions coming in for the Tides with 7:32 remaining in the 3rd period. The Tides in the wing tee. Campos split right. Coleman straight drop back. He looks for Campos and he's got him. The defense gets beat. A nice pass and a reception from Coleman to Campos.
I tell you, one big pass play right after another.
Campos was heading down the right side, looked like he tried to make the adjustment to go out, made a nice move, eluded the defender, and he made the catch for a big pass play.
He just beat his coverage.
So Gig Harbor with a big pass play here, threatening to score once again. They hand the ball off to Turnbull, but he goes nowhere. I don't think he got any gain on the play. In fact, it looks like he lost a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11, Gig Harbor.
He's stopped up by number 58, Buddy Anderson. Number 13, Chris Anderson. Anderson brothers at it again.
Ball will be spotted at about the 13-yard line. And here come the Tides. Willis split left. Looks like a little confusion on the offensive side of Gig Harbor. Turnbull goes in motion right. They hand the ball off inside to Shearer.
He got nowhere.
He's going nowhere. A nice stop there by the Wolves.
Andy Sun, number 4, with the tackle.
Shearer on the carry. Shot by Buddy Anderson and Andrew Sun.
So Gig Harbor looked a little confused there on that play, and they will have no gain. It'll be 3rd and 11 from the 13.
Do you think they go for the end zone this time, DD?
I would imagine they would be looking to hand the ball off to Turnbull to try and power his way into that end zone. It's been pretty successful for him tonight, but also so has been this trips formation.
There's that 3 receivers on the right side.
Coleman dropped back. He looks for the quick hit off to the right. He's got Willis. Willis makes the catch, but he's going to be short of the first down.
He doesn't get there.
Reception good to Andy Willis.
The ball will be placed at the 5-yard line, so a gain of 6 yards. And again, Gig Harbor is denied entrance into the end zone, and looks like they will attempt another field goal here. A 22-yard field goal attempt by Andy Willis. The snap, there's the kick, is up, and it is good. Willis has been on the money tonight, so the Gig Harbor Tides come away with another field goal and lead the South Kitsap Wolves 23-20 with 5:01 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
It's like that offensive rush was led by the playmaking of that nice pass play by Mr. Coleman and Campos, but at Willis, you're right, he's been on the money the whole night. Very dependable kicker.
Well, it looks like this contest might turn into a contest of stamina and endurance. And usually, Phil, in the past, what I've seen is that South Kitsap has come out on top, and I'm not trying to jinx them here as I knock on wood, but these South Kitsap coaches do such an excellent job of getting these players in shape that they are able to just outlast their opponents.
They just keep intense all 4 quarters.
Willis with a squib kick to the left side. It'll be fielded by Cole at the 20. He heads up the middle, gets a nice block from Anderson, stays on his feet. And he will make it down to about the 28. So South Kitsap will take over here with 4:53 left in the 3rd quarter.
The special teams over with Ryan Cole and Nick Anderson has done a really good job of getting South Kitsap field position.
So we'll see what the Wolves can do here on offense as Victor Valle comes in to give Cole a little breather. They hand the ball off to Valle off the left side. He stays on his feet. A nice little run there. He's getting close to that 1st down marker.
It's like he's quick. He has good moves.
Valle had a couple of carries for 10 yards in his first series, and he comes in here again and gets a nice run of 9. No, they're going to give it to him. It's 10 yards. That'll be another 1st down. So on 3 carries, Victor Valle's gained 20 yards. And another 1st down at the South Kitsap 39. Vetters hands the ball off to Valle, gets off right guard, but he's quickly taken down by Gig Harbor.
Looks like he kind of got tripped up by his own teammate, Mr. 58.
Number 44, Matt Sessiger on the stop there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Speed kills, DV, and this Victor guy's got it, man.
But Victor Valle comes out, and it's number 23, Jeremiah Martin, who takes the ball on a counter play, makes a nice move, cuts up inside, eludes Willis, and gets up near the 50-yard line. So number 23, Jeremiah Martin, coming into the game, and the Wolves showing that they have a few running backs here who can carry the ball.
Yes, sir, and Cole's getting his rest work.
Well, there's only so much you can carry the ball in a game. You know, you can key on certain players, but looks like they're coming back out in full force as Ryan Cole and Travis Vetters come back into the game here. It'll be 3rd and 1, South Kitsap, as they are in the power I formation. Cole gets the ball, he's getting up left tackle, stutter steps, gets to the outside, cuts back in, and he's going to make it down to the 27-yard line.
Good block. Who was that? Josh Meeker, good block. You don't expect wide receivers to get blocks like that, and he did that. That was a good block.
A nice block by Josh Meeker. Cole got to the outside, faked in and kept going out, tripped up the defensive player without even touching him. A nice run by Cole, but what a great hole there created by the seal of that offensive line.
Seems like every time they go outside, it's money.
Another power I formation. Martin gets the carry, back left over tackle.
This South Kitsap run average seems to be about 5 yards per carry for me.
A nice run by Jeremiah Martin, as Cole will come back into the game. Victor Valle and Jeremiah Martin doing an excellent job here as well, running the ball for South Kitsap.
Just mixing it up with those running backs.
Tell you who else has had a great game tonight is Josh Meeker, number 19, tight end for the Wolves. That power I formation, they hand the ball off to Cole, gets a couple of blocks, He makes a couple of cutbacks, and there goes Ryan Cole. Touchdown, South Kitsap.
I tell you what, I told you he'd go outside, but he didn't. He faked like he was going outside, cut right back to the inside, and hit for the end zone.
Ryan Cole with a 24-yard touchdown run, and just like that, the South Kitsap Wolves go back on top. And I'll tell you, Phil, right there was a great example of Ryan Cole after he gets through that offensive line. Shannon Haney with the kick. It is up and good. So with 1:47 remaining in the third quarter, South Kitsap leads Gig Harbor 27-23. What a nice run by Ryan Cole.
Check out that replay. You see number 1 just towards the end coming in there. He caught him before, but he couldn't catch him this time. Ryan Cole with that rest and that 4.53 40-yard dash run speed. He's got it, baby.
And we've said it once and we'll say it again. That offensive line for the South Kitsap Wolves has been phenomenal. Doing an excellent job creating holes for all of the running backs for South Kitsap. Chris Kruger, Ben Duncan, Scott Caston, Phil Bilderback, Matt Christenberry, Josh Meeker, Buddy Anderson, all these guys coming in. Gosh, they're doing a great job. But the running backs are doing a nice job, too, of getting some yards. As South Kitsap, Haney kicks the ball. It checks up a little bit. Turnbull takes it.
Nice
and he's taken down by South Kitsap's number 9, Brennan Mueller. Haney with the kick. The ball checked up about the 21-yard line, and it looked as if nobody from Gig Harbor was going to pick up the ball.
Looks like they didn't want it.
Finally, Turnbull picked it up and started to run, but there was Mueller to make a nice tackle. So the Gig Harbor Tides will have a 1st and 10 from their own 20.
And what looked like a poor kick ended up being pretty good for South Kitsap.
Looked like it was heading for out of bounds. Coleman with the handoff straight inside. He's not going to get anything on that play.
There's that pack of Wolves.
That defensive line and those linebackers plugging up those holes for a very short gain of 1. It'll be 2nd and 9, Gig Harbor. Well, the Tides break the huddle with Campos and Willis split right. Coleman, quick pitch to the left, and Turnbull with the pitch, and I think that the defense was completely caught off guard on that.
I tell you, that was a good drawn-out play. They drew him to the right side with those wide receivers and just totally just blasted him to the left with that Mr. number 35.
That's Turnbull.
That's Turnbull, yeah, that's right. Number 35 going to the outside to the left. It was a nice play.
So just like that, the Tides get a big gain.
Think we might see it again here?
You never know. Man in motion. They hand the ball off to Turnbull. He goes off right tackle, bounces off a couple of Wolf tacklers, and he gets a nice gain.
That's a good series of plays right there. Two good running plays.
Turnbull's one heck of a runner. He's a powerful runner. And at 6'1", 214, that's quite a load to take down. So a gain of 7 on the play. Call it 2nd and 3. Ball placed at the 39. They hand the ball off to Turnbull. Off a little counter play. Gains a couple more.
Looks like he's got the first down.
I believe he'll have the first down.
We'll see.
Well, it's close. Looks like they're going to bring the chains out for a measurement, but I'm guessing that it is, and yes, they have. They've called it a first down, so there will be no measurement. The ball will be placed at the 43.
Just a great series of runs here by Paul Turnbull.
Coleman dropped straight back, looking for Campos down the right side. It's intercepted! It's intercepted!
Number 11, Travis Vetter, the quarterback, gets an interception.
A nice defensive stop there by number 11, Travis Vetter. So just like that, a couple of nice big running plays by Gig Harbor taken away from them on the interception.
Nobody else better to read the quarterback's eyes than the quarterback himself. Travis Vetter from South Kitsap intercepts the ball.
Earlier in the game, the Wolves had been beaten a couple of times on a few big pass plays, but not that time, as Campos had double coverage, resulting in an interception by Vetter. So the Wolves will take over.
You know, we talked about Ryan Cole and we talked about Victor Valle and Josh Meeker, but Travis Vetters has done an excellent job as well.
And actually, that brought to an end here the third quarter. So with 1 quarter remaining in this football game, South Kitsap leads Gig Harbor 27-23, and this possession here by South Kitsap is a huge one. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank Port Orchard's Staples, Mailbox, etc., and printing services for their strong support in donating the flag flyers that many people are holding here tonight.
I tell you, it's a packed house tonight. Most of them have those flags out waving.
Here we go, the start of the fourth quarter. We have a new quarterback in there.
Number 17, Jared Stevenson.
So Stevenson giving Vetters a little breather here, as is Victor Valle at tailback. He takes the ball off left guard, gets 4 yards. It'll be 2nd and 6.
I think that's a little bit of a risky move, bringing in a secondary QB, DB.
Well, I'll tell you, I think it's a pretty good thing. You can give some of your key players a rest here. Stevenson hands off to Valle. Valle has a big hole. He barrels over a couple of Tides defenders. Nice run by Victor Valle, as he's going to get a first down near the 40-yard line.
He is pumped, man. He just keeps his feet moving. That's the story of Victor Valle. He's quick, keeps his feet moving, knows when to make the move, knows when to not cut back and when to cut back. Runs it right up the middle to the left hash mark.
He's 5'8", 151 pounds, but only a junior. We see a lot of good things in that young man as the Wolves have the ball near midfield. Stevenson hands off to Cole, who's back in the game, and he gets across to the 42. So ball control here on the minds of the coaches for South Kitsap. And let's not forget a couple of the other coaches down there on the sidelines, and Casey Ogan and Ron Ness. Stevenson hands to Cole, spins around, doesn't get much on the play, maybe a couple.
That's the best defense against the run I've seen Gig Harbor have. There's just nothing there for him.
It'll be 3rd and 4 from the South Kitsap 43.
Nice camera work, fellas, as you see number 17 receiving the orders from Mr. Segerson.
So Coach Segerson getting some substitutions in here as the Wolves go to the power I formation. Cole with the counter. He breaks up the middle, gets to the outside. But there's a penalty flag on the play, and that's usually in the area of holding.
There's a Gig Harbor player down as well.
So hold everything, and I believe that this will be coming back. third down play for South Kitsap. They got the first down.
There we go.
Quick flag coming in.
We see that injured player on the sidelines getting stretched out right there. It looks like a hamstring, possibly.
Can't tell for sure yet, but it almost looks like number 9, Kyle Euchre for Gig Harbor. So a big first down conversion negated by a holding penalty. And instead of first down, it'll be 3rd and 13 for the Wolves at their own 34.
It looks like number 9, Kyle Euchre. He gets off the field. He's limping a little bit though.
As he gingerly gets up, being helped off the field, but he looks like he'll be okay, and we're glad to see that. So this will be a big test for both sides, as the Wolves have a key third down play here with 9:30 remaining in the game. Power I. Stevenson hands the ball off to Cole, breaks a tackle, but a couple of more Tides gather him up and knock him down at the 40-yard line, short of the first down. So a punting situation for South Kitsap.
In the last few running plays, I have to say, Gig Harbor's really put the wood to Ryan Cole.
And again, Phil, another big penalty right there, resulting in South Kitsap, who will punt the ball away and change possessions here. So key turnovers for both sides, as Travis Vedders will do the punting.
Nice.
He gets a high end-over-end kick, not very deep. Fielded by, oh, what a hit!
And who was that? That was Josh Meeker.
Nice hit by my man, Meek.
He can tackle, he can block, and he can catch touchdowns and go to the end zone.
Josh Meeker doing it on both sides of the field here. So nice job by Josh Meeker, who also happens to be the ASB president of South Kitsap High School.
Yeah, I was going to be, but I didn't run.
Did you run?
No, I didn't. I think I would have made it.
You'd have been a good candidate, I'll tell you that, Phil.
Thanks, sir.
As Coleman pitches the ball to Turnbull off the left. Boy, and he gets across. Looks like he's going to be near that first down marker. What a nice run by
Turnbull.
I tell you what, my memory's going on me there.
There you go, 35, number Turnbull. Every time they run to the outside, it seems like money. I tell you, Gig Harbor's doing a good job blocking for the outside.
I might have to just call him that guy. It might be a little easier for me to remember.
Number 35, that guy.
That guy over there and this guy over there. We'll get the names right here.
Yeah, whoever it is, it's exciting.
A nice gain by Turnbull, 9 yards, 2nd and 1. They hand the ball off to Shearer. He bounces off a couple of Wolves, keeps going, and he'll have the first down easily, just getting past midfield. Actually, the ball will be placed right at midfield. Another first down for Gig Harbor. So a huge penalty, a holding penalty by South Kitsap, which could have resulted in a first down, led to a punt, and Gig Harbor's on the move here at midfield.
I expect him to run to the left.
They hand the ball off to Turnbull. He gets off to the right side. He powers his way across to the 40. Another nice gain of 10 yards, and they might need a measurement on this one.
Goodness gracious, Bowden. They have me confused. I seen them do that before. They stack it to the right side and then run it left, but you saw them do that right after they reversed it and ran to the right. This time that's a key play for Gig Harbor running game.
We'll have to wait and see where the ball is spotted, but Gig Harbor's on the move here with nice running plays by Turnbull. We're seeing 2 excellent performances tonight at the running back position. Number 34, Ryan Cole for South Kitsap, and number 35, Paul Turnbull for Gig Harbor.
You can't forget about Victor Valle or Jeremiah Martin either.
Both players have to be well into the 100-yard rushing.
Yes, sir. Seems like Turnbull's really carried the load for the running game of Gig Harbor.
Let's not forget number 5, Brent Shearer, who's done a nice job carrying the ball a little bit, giving Turnbull a spill, as is Victor Valle and Jeremiah Martin for the Wolves. So a first down for Gig Harbor at their own 40, with a couple of handoffs in there. Shearer gets the call this time.
There he is. Brent Shearer with that wing T offense, trying to get a little momentum going with the handoff to handoff, and it doesn't seem to be working, as South Kitsap has really put the stop to him.
That wing T with those double handoffs, trying to confuse the defense. Shearer gains 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7 from the 37. Split receivers to the right. Coleman hands off to Turnbull, but he's mad. He's not going anywhere on that one. Taken down by number 45, John Inbaum. What a hit by Inbaum.
Nice.
And also number 29, Phil Thomas. And Josh O'Donnell, looks like.
Well, whoever it was, there's a pack of Wolves. Looks like number 3 is trying to get the crowd into it. Mr. Sean Banks, co-captain.
Oh, that's number 79, Devin Spencer, and it looks like there's a little confusion on defense here. Fairweather yelling to his players. Turnbull gets the handoff, and again swarmed by Inbaum. Nice read by the linebacker.
Whatever it is, it's got to be something. Fairweather's going a little bit nuts over there.
On the 3rd down play, it's going to be 4th and 2. A little bit out of range for Willis. So Gig Harbor's going to have to go after. They'll have to go for it here on 4th down. So the crowd now getting into it. South Kitsap players trying to get the crowd going here.
Nice shot of the crowd. Nice shot of the crowd, fellas.
They end the ball to Turnbull. He gets the handoff, and he does. He gets past that 1st down marker. He was hit at the line of scrimmage, but kept going and barrels a couple of yards past and gets down to the South Kitsap 28 with 5:10 remaining in the game. South Kitsap leading 27-23. What a game we have here tonight.
Seems like it's going to come down to the wire, TV.
Gig Harbor sends 2 receivers to the right. Coleman pitches to Turnbull, escapes a tackle.
Looks like he was hit by number 4, Andrew Sun.
Andy Sun hitting him, and Sun goes down.
He's shaking his leg. Oh, he's in pain.
Looked like he could have had a little stinger there.
They're stretching it out right quick.
Looks like it could be a tight hamstring, could be a cramp, who knows. Heat's really turning on here.
Let's hope that's all it is. We've seen a few injuries where people would just kind of take a breather on the field. They get hit too hard and lose their wind, and here he is. He's up.
Sun gets up. He looks like he's going to be okay there.
They get a cramp, they get the wind knocked out of them, just take a breather on the field. That's all right.
After Turnbull only gained 2 yards on the play, stopped by Andy Sun, as he is escorted off the field by the South Kitsap athletic trainers, but he looks okay. And Gig Harbor will have a 2nd and 8 from the South Kitsap 26. Campos splits left. They pitch the ball to Turnbull. He bounces and spins his way up the middle past the 1st down.
And I thought they had him there, but Gosh, he just kept his feet moving, spinning and turning, getting those moves going, and yeah.
Well, at 214 pounds, it looks like he's hard to take down, as we have an official's timeout here, as Sean Banks is coming out of the game momentarily. Not sure what's...
Nice shot of him.
If there was an injury or not. He's grabbing his neck and being attended to by one of our other head trainers, Frida Kohlberg, as Gig Harbor has a 1st and 10 from the South Kitsap 15. And the ball, Shearer gets the handoff. The double handoff given to Shearer. He gets up the middle for a gain of about 4 yards.
It's like he just stiff-armed number 75, Chris Kruger, up there, which is a really hard thing to do. Kruger being one of the bigger defensive linemen. Shearer just put his arm out there and got through the middle.
He gains 4 yards down to the South Kitsap 10-yard line. 2nd and 6. So Gig Harbor driving here late in the game with only 3:40 remaining and trailing South Kitsap by 4, and it looks like we're going to have a timeout here.
So with 3:33 left in the game, it's South Kitsap Wolves 27, Gig Harbor Tides 23.
So a Gig Harbor timeout, that leaves them with 2, and the Tides want to head over to their sideline to talk about things. This also gives us an opportunity to tell you that entertainment books will now be sold by the South Kitsap High School boys basketball squad. If you have any questions or would like to know any more information about the entertainment books, you can call John Callahan, the head coach at Marcus Whitman Junior High, at 876-7326, extension 108.
Not only with the open house at South Kitsap being September 20th, 6:30 to 8:30, open houses will be held throughout the school district during the month of September. Contact the school or district office for dates and times.
So both teams coming back onto the field. Gig Harbor has a 2nd and 6 from the 10.
It's going to be a big test right here for the South Kitsap defense.
Campo split right. They pitch the ball, there's a fumble, but Turnbull picks it up and falls down. A nice play by Turnbull not to let the ball get into the hands of South Kitsap.
Nice tackle, broke by number 29, Phil Thomas. Just got right up the gut, saw what was happening, and just laid on him.
It looked like Coleman pitched the ball, and Turnbull just took his eyes off the ball for a moment, and it was fumbled, but he fell on it and recovered. And it's going to result in a loss of 7, where it'll be 3rd and 12 from the South Kitsap 16.
With 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining.
Gig Harbor sends trips to the right. Coleman rolls to his right, looking for his man, and it's almost intercepted, deflected off Willis.
Nice play by the South Kitsap cornerbacks right there.
And Shearer actually almost caught that ball off the deflection, but a nice job by the South Kitsap secondary. Incomplete pass. It'll be 4th and 12, Gig Harbor. So a key stop here on defense by South Kitsap. And Gig Harbor is going to have to go for it because a field goal won't be enough. As Jim Fairweather and DJ Sigurdsson and Eric Canton yelling to their defense.
Players are getting the crowd pumped and in the game right now.
So here we go, folks. 4th and 12, Gig Harbor from the South Kitsap 16. Trips to the right.
There's a flag.
And we're going to have a penalty flag.
Story of the night, folks.
Another penalty flag. It could be a delay of game, but we haven't seen the signal yet from the referee.
Looks like it's going to be against Gig Harbor.
As the South Kitsap defense is cheering, and yes it is, it'll be a delay of game. And another costly penalty. So moments ago, just having the ball at the 10-yard line, after a huge loss and penalty, Gig Harbor now has the ball at the South Kitsap 21. 4th and 17, this could be the ball game. Coleman drops back. Flushed
He's
out of the
pressured.
pocket. He's looking for a man and he grounds it.
Yeah, 4th and 17. South Kitsap defense gets possession for the South Kitsap offense.
Coleman was flushed out of the pocket, and number 34, big Ryan Cole, chasing after him, and Coleman had to get rid of it, and the pass wasn't even close as it was incomplete, and South Kitsap will take over on downs at their own 21. A nice defensive stop there by the defense.
All South Kitsap has to do right now is run the ball.
Well, Gig Harbor has 2 timeouts, so they can stop the clock twice. And there is a lot of time remaining here with 2:35. South Kitsap leading 27-23, barring any turnovers or penalties. As South Kitsap comes out in the power I formation, Cole is met at the line of scrimmage. What a nice hit by number 44, Matt Sessinger. And Gig Harbor will stop the clock immediately with another timeout. So a nice defensive stop there by Gig Harbor. In fact, South Kitsap will lose a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 11. So don't cash in your tickets yet, folks. We got a lot of time left here in this game.
Exactly.
With 2:26 remaining, South Kitsap deep in their own territory, somehow needing to get a first down so they can run out this clock. So here come the Wolves. The ball is spotted at the 20. And they are in that familiar power I formation. Cole gets hit, spins around, stays on his feet, gets tripped up.
Rushes right up the middle.
Gig Harbor will use their last timeout as Cole gets to the 28.
Well, I tell you, that one Gig Harbor player had him wrapped around at the waist there, and just Ryan Cole just slipped right out of that.
We'll call it the 27, and it'll be 3rd and 4 for South Kitsap. So a big 3rd down play here again for both sides. Another nice new addition here to Joe Knoll Stadium is the new scoreboard at the end of the stadium. I'm sure people were just dying to know about that, huh, Phil?
Yes, sir, but that's all right. We'll get it next time.
Well, we try and throw in a few things here and there now. Just a while ago, a big 4th down play. Now it's a big 3rd down play for South Kitsap. Oh, and it looks like an offside. Can you believe it? It's going to be offsides on Gig Harbor. I can't believe it.
I'm speechless. That usually doesn't happen.
And it will be. They're going to move him back. That'll be a first down. I don't believe it. Gig Harbor jumped offsides, and instead of 3rd and 4, an automatic first down for South Kitsap. And Phil, again, turnovers have been costly for Gig Harbor.
And penalties.
Well, with no timeouts left, all South Kitsap has to do is control the ball and run the clock out. And they're not going to take any chances here. Cole gets the call. He gets out to the left. There goes Ryan Cole. Nobody's going to stop him. He's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Ryan Cole. A 68-yard touchdown run. And just like that, South Kitsap gets into the end zone.
What do you know? They were just asking him to get 4 or 5 yards to keep the clock going, and he goes in for the touchdown with that great speed running down the left sideline.
Bill, I can't tell you how many times both teams tonight have suffered penalties which have led to points by the opposite team. As we just saw there, as Ryan Cole went into the end zone from 68 yards out, and he's got to be near that 200-yard plateau. The extra point is up. It is no good. But with 2:04 remaining, the South Kitsap Wolves have taken a 33-23 lead over
Let's check that
Gig
instant
Harbor.
replay.
What a nice job by the offensive line at South Kitsap, sealing the defense, allowing Cole to get off left tackle, getting into the end zone.
And you see there again, Andy Willis, he got him before, but he couldn't get him this time. Ryan Cole just seemed to be so pumped and so into the game that he didn't need 4 or 5 yards, he needed a touchdown.
Well, having 4.6 speed doesn't hurt. And getting to the outside, there's no stopping Ryan Cole, and that almost looked like it took the wind out of Gig Harbor's sails for good.
No doubt. I mean, I'm going to knock on wood right here, but the thing that would make him be back in it is just a run back for a touchdown, but I don't think we'll see that here with this South Kitsap special teams unit.
We've been knocking on wood so much up here, we're going to have to get Gary Vetter from the Ag Department to come up here and build a new booth. We're about ready to tear it down. As Haney gets ready for the kickoff.
That's a good kick.
Tried to be fielded by Shearer, but it goes into the end zone. And as you know, when the ball goes into the end zone on a kickoff, it's an automatic touchback. So Gig Harbor will get the ball at their own 20-yard line with 2:04 remaining, and they've got to put up some points here on the board quickly.
Absolutely, and Brett Shearer, the one guy who usually doesn't catch the ball, didn't catch the ball this time. I thought it'd be a good thing. It took a South Kitsap bounce, but it into the end zone, and they ended up on the 20 with pretty good field position. Jim Fairweather and Mr. Segerson talking it over with the South Kitsap Wolves, trying to figure out the strategy they're going to take against the Gig Harbor offense.
Well, I would imagine that the Wolves are going to be in some kind of a prevent defense, but it's going to be tough as Gig Harbor has done an excellent job tonight on offense, especially by number 35, Paul Turnbull.
What a great night. You can't say good enough things about either running back.
And Phil, there's another coach that we can't forget about on the South Kitsap staff, and that's Joey Dane. My greatest fear is that I've forgotten somebody, and I apologize for not getting all these coaches, but what a great coaching staff that we have, as we are in a huge prevent defense. Gig Harbor going with 4 wide receivers. Coleman gets the ball to Shearer out on the left. He does a nice job of getting the first down and out of bounds.
And out of bounds. That was a good job there.
So a nice gain of 12 yards to the 32 and stopping the clock with 1:58. Good clock management. I'll tell you what, that's good coaching right there.
Absolutely. And he knows when he draws out that play that his receivers can break it, but they can also take it out of bounds and save the clock.
Coleman with the quick pass out to the right, taken by Willis, jukes a few players, taken out of bounds.
Great moves.
Taken down by Jeremiah Martin, but again, getting out of bounds and stopping the clock, and another first down.
Great moves, great speed by Andy Willis.
Now this is something that South Kitsap cannot afford. They want that ball to stay in.
It's been It's been about 12 seconds, DB, and we've seen 2 first downs here.
So Gig Harbor doing a nice job here of gaining yards and stopping the clock as they send out 4 more, 2 more, still in that wing T. Coleman rose to his left, and almost intercepted Nick Anderson if he had 1 more step forward. The pass was intended for Shearer out in the flat. Anderson on the coverage, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10, Gig Harbor.
Looks like that's what Gig Harbor's after, is just kind of fake us out with those big, long wide receivers going way long and then throwing those little short, nifty passes, running it out to the outside into out of bounds.
As Phil Thomas comes out of the game and Andy Sun comes back in. 4 wide receivers. Coleman looks to his left, scrambles out of the pocket, starts running with the ball, but he will be taken down.
And he doesn't get out of bounds. There's 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this game.
Looked like Chris Anderson on the play and Jeremiah Martin, but he stays in bounds, so the clock keeps running with 1:20. Coleman trips, almost falls, and he underthrows his intended receiver, number 4, Peter Burley.
He didn't look like he was rushed at all. I mean, I don't know.
So a key 4th down play here for Gig Harbor, 4th and 6.
It just seemed like, I'm sorry, it just seemed like Coleman had all the time in the world back there in that pocket, and he just messed up by throwing that short little nifty pass, but he just grounded it.
The ball will be at the 48. Key play here. Could be the game. Coleman drops back, looks right, scrambles, and he's chased, and he's going to be taken down by the Wolves. John Enbaum. Nice takedown by number 45, Enbaum.
Well, he's got to be stoked, and so are these fans.
Coleman was flushed out of the pocket, stopped, tried to cut back to his left, but meeting him head on in a major collision was number 45, John Enbaum, and that's the ball game right there, folks. With 1:08 minute remaining, the Wolves will take over 1st and 10 at Gig Harbor's 35-yard line. As Travis Fetters just takes a knee, and they will just try and run the clock out here, and they should be able to do that on all their possessions. What a game by 2 strong rivals battling back and forth here. South Kitsap leading 33-23 with only 35 seconds remaining. Vetters takes another knee.
And there was a shot of that scoreboard, fellas. That's what we were looking for. We saw that nice new scoreboard showing that there was 25 seconds remaining with 3rd down and 10 to go.
It'll be 3rd and 13. And in fact, I don't think the Wolves will even need to take a snap as it's winding down here, 9-8, and that'll do it. Here at Joe Knoll Stadium, the South Kitsap Wolves defeat the Gig Harbor Tides 33-23. What a great performance by a very well-coached team, led by a strong running attack. Brian Cole having at least got to be near that 200-yard mark, and just a great game overall, a whole team effort. We would like to thank you for joining us here at South Kitsap High School. I've had the great pleasure of working for the first time with Phil Wilson, and we'd like to thank the students of the video production program here at South Kitsap who made this TV program possible. Again, the final score, the South Kitsap Wolves improved to 2-0 by defeating Gig Harbor 33-23. So long, and we'll see you next week as the South Kitsap Wolves take on the Bremerton Knights. So long, everybody.